Hello, I'm back again to talk about American domestic politics. So there's this story I just discovered recently, an example of how toxic politics have gotten in this country, and how tribalism trumps principles, and how people are destroying relationships over their political views. And I was talking about how powerful the Trump cult truly is. Well, there's a story apparently, which I'm going to view here with this phone. It talks about how a MAGA dad kills daughter after a fight about Trump. So this guy killed his daughter because they had a disagreement about Trump. This is how powerful this cult has got with people. That people are committing violence on behalf of this man. Like, it's such a travesty. You know, our country could do so much better. But let me show you guys the video here real quick. All right.
Welcome to the show. I have a very disturbing story to share with you guys. You guys know I cover a lot of the MAGA violence. This is not one of those typical stories, although it's adjacent to it, because, you know, usually it involves strangers. But this time I have a story to share about a father who shot and killed his daughter after they had a heated argument about Donald Trump. Wish I was making this up, but here she is, beautiful girl, and what he said to her before he killed her is definitive proof that this is a cult. And I don't mean that to be sarcastic or hyperbolic, like, oh yeah, they're in a cult. No, I mean literally that Trump has brainwashed these people to the point that they care more about him than they do their own children. That is a cult. No two ways about it, no parsing it. It just is what it is. It's just a fact. So here's what all went down. So the woman that you saw there, her name is Lucy Harrison. She was 23 years old. She was a resident in, she's British, and I don't know where she lived, but she was British. And she came to the U.S. in January of 2025 to visit her father. Her father's name is Chris Harrison. Her boyfriend, a guy named Sam Littler, also went with her, and he testified at her trial, which is going on this week. He testified about this shooting. So he traveled with Lucy to the U.S. This was last year again. He was present when the argument happened and when the shooting occurred. So according to Littler, her boyfriend, Lucy and her dad get in this big argument. This was on the morning of January 10th, 2025. And he used that exact term. He said big argument. And evidently, something must have come up about Trump's sexual assault victims, because Lucy said to her dad, hey, how would you like it if I was that girl in that situation and I was the one who was sexually assaulted? And her father said something to the effect of, well, I have two other daughters who live with me, so yeah, it wouldn't upset me that much. Father of the year, right? Like I said, it's a freaking cult. So the boyfriend said Lucy was understandably very upset. She ran upstairs. Well, approximately 30 minutes before, this was like later in the day, about 30 minutes before they were supposed to head out for the airport, Lucy was in the kitchen. Her dad came in, and they said he took her by the hand. I guess his bedroom was on the lower level of the house, on the first story. So he takes her by the hand, he leads her into the bedroom, and her boyfriend told the court about 15 seconds after that, he heard a loud bang, and then Lucy's father started screaming for his wife, which is not Lucy's mother. So the boyfriend said, quote, I remember running into the room and Lucy was lying on the floor near the entrance to the bathroom, and Chris was just screaming just sort of nonsense. Now, her father claims he took her into the bedroom to show her his gun. He has a semi-automatic handgun. And he said, quote, "As I lifted the gun to show her, I suddenly heard a loud bang. I did not understand what had happened. Lucy immediately fell." And he said he couldn't recall if his finger was on the trigger or not. Now, that may seem like a blatant lie, but here's what came out in court as well. Apparently, her father, Chris Harrison, has an alcohol abuse problem. He has been to rehab multiple times in the past. He claims that he had been totally sober, but that he, quote unquote, briefly lapsed on the day that he killed his daughter because he was so distraught about her leaving. Yeah, you're so distraught about your daughter leaving that you go get loaded. The daughter that you love so much that you wouldn't care if Donald Trump sexually assaulted her. I'm telling you, these people didn't get their addictions, like they didn't get over their addictions, I should say. They just moved them. They moved them from one vice to the other. They moved them from alcohol to Donald Trump. They moved them from drugs to Donald Trump. I mean, we saw that with how many people from January 6th. So anyway, there is no doubt that Chris Harrison had been drinking that day. He admitted that he was consuming white wine. There's security footage showing him going in and purchasing 2 cartons of Chardonnay on the day of the killing. He went into a 7-Eleven store. So, you know, no one knows exactly what happened in that bedroom besides Lucy and her father. But here's the thing. She will receive no justice here in the United States because the state of Texas has too many Trump supporters. We saw the same thing with the Trump train and how they terrorized people in the Harris bus, right? Tried to run them off the road, nothing happened to them. So the Texas police investigated her death as a manslaughter case initially. They brought it before a grand jury, and the grand jury said, yeah, no, we're not going to indict her father. So the only reason this is now being litigated is because her mother has brought a case against him in England. So that's the case that's ongoing this week. So this is just insane. That nothing is going to happen to him here in the United States. What's so ironic is that the boyfriend talked about how Lucy apparently used to have arguments all the time with her father over guns. So she was against them, her father was totally for them, and what do you know? She ends up dead at the hands of her own father with a gun. This is why so many people from abroad don't want to come to the U.S. anymore. And I say that as a gun owner, but we absolutely need stronger laws in this country. We need to stop certain people from owning guns.
Yep.
People like this who are dangerous. I firmly believe if you have a substance abuse issue, you should not be allowed to own a gun. Because you could relapse at any moment, and this is what happens. Whether he meant to or not, I don't know. We'll never know, I guess. But this is just, like I said, this is a cult. Just to think that that is some of the last words that you spoke to your daughter before she died at your hands. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if a man raped you. I don't care if a man held you down and violated you. Because he matters to me more than you do. That's some of the last things that he said to his daughter before she left this earth. I hope he never has another moment of peace. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like,